Are you ready to rock? Ready to roll? Welcome back. Take out your snack and get unpacked because today I have a new friend. Brownie is my tabby. Okay, he's like I sleep. We just have so much fun together. But I gotta say, this guy's almost a little like Tabby too. He's very nice. He let me pick it up. Oh, he's gonna pee on my shirt. But he's a really nice guy, and I'm gonna girl. And we'll show you. And the reason why we call this piggy Oreo is because look, why do you think we call him Oreo? Yeah, look at the stripe on his nose. It's all white fur. And that white fur looks like an Oreo cookie. Okay, Ori, it's okay, buddy. All right, so let's get cracking here. We're gonna add those key details to the last part of our story. Are we ready? So yesterday we talked about how do you know that Mrs. Teaberry and Mr. Putter are becoming friends? Well, we learned that because they were kind to each other. They wanted to share some time. They were taking turns. They were just kind of listening to each other. Friends do a really good job at listening, and that's an important part of being a good friend. Well, first in our plot sequencing chart, Mr. Putter eats those jelly rolls, his stomach grumbles, and he can't sleep. Next, Mr. Putter and Tabby go outside for a walk. Mr. Putter tells Tabby all about the sky. Well, while they're walking around and circling the neighborhood, Mr. Putter and Tabby finish up their walk, and who do they find? They find Mrs. Teaberry and Zeke, the dog, outside. You don't have to talk about the grumbling of their bellies, but they tell stories. All right, and that's what really friends do. Let's just take one more look at that page. There they are on the front lawn telling stories. And it's really important that you look at the pictures for help. Good readers, that's things good readers do. Look at the picture for help, okay? That's a nice thing to do to really understand what it's about. My daughter was reading a story last night, and it said that a Care Bear brought a whole bunch of and she couldn't figure it out. And the word was balloons. All she had to do was look at the characters in the picture, and it was a Care Bear holding a bunch of balloons. So when she saw the balloons, she looked at the word balloons, and she matched the picture with the printed word on the page, and that's another thing good readers do. Okay? Look at the picture for help. So let's look at this picture and say, hey, they're becoming friends. They're sharing ideas. They're maybe laughing together. They're having a really nice time. They're being kind. Then, when the stomachs on the front lawn stopped being so grumbly, everyone said good night, went to bed, and slept like a dog. Like a log. That's another phrase. Sleep like a dog, because they look like they're sleeping peacefully. Oh, and Mrs. Teaberry has something on her bed. And now you take a look at this picture because they're showing you people are able to go to sleep after they had that nice conversation and after they took a nice walk. Miss Teaberry and Zeke feel better. They're laying down in their bed. That's wonderful. So they both found a solution to their problem. And there's a picture behind the bed. I'm looking very closely at the pictures that says there's no place like home. That's a nice idea. The last page of the story. Buckle up, here we go. In the morning, Mr. Putter heard a scratching at the door. He opened it. Who do you think it's gonna be? It was Zeke with a note. And the note said, "Are you hungry?" Oh no, she didn't bring him more jelly rolls, did she? Pineapple jelly rolls, he's gonna get another bellyache. Mr. Putter smiled. Let's see if he learns his lesson. He picked up Tabby, and together they walked next door. Wow. But it doesn't say if he ate the jelly rolls or not. They want that to be up to the reader. Use your imagination. What do you think happened? Maybe you can answer that question. We don't know for sure, but they want the reader to be able to think about that. And that's like when we watch a movie, at the end of the movie, we always think about, oh man, that was really cool. Or why did they do that in the movie? How come they didn't tell us what happens to her tomorrow, or what happens in the future, the character? Well, Mr. Putty and Tabby finished their walk. This was the third part of the plot sequencing chart. Mr. Putty and Tabby finished their walk, and Miss Teaberry and Zeke outside. They tell stories. Last, Mr. Putter finally goes to sleep. He was able to after the walk and that nice conversation with Mrs. Teaberry. That used up some of the time. So in that time, his food is going down and he's starting to feel better. Maybe he's drinking some water. The next day, the last page of the story, I'm going to show you the picture in a moment. I want you to visualize in your mind right now. Think about what that means. The next day, Mr. Putter, he and Tabby return to Miss Teaberry's house. And that's really it. They went back. Okay. They went back. They went back to Miss Teaberry's house. Where is it? And she has those fresh those pineapple rolls ready to go. You know, my grandmother, she used to love feeding me because I was such a good eater. Oh, don't scratch me, mister. And people like feeding people that are really good at eating. Are you nibbling on my shirt? I know you're a good eater too, but you don't have to eat my shirt. So, okay. There it is. And I hope you guys really got a good understanding about these relationships that the characters have in the story. Did Mr. Putter and Tabby's relationship change? Did they feel the same way about each other in the beginning of the story and at the end? Well, if you take a look at Oreo, our relationship hasn't changed. My love for Oreo is the same as it was 2 days ago or last week. I feel very much the same. I got a lot of love in my heart for Oreo. And just like Tabby and Mr. Putter, they have this love for each other. They spend so much wonderful time together, whether they're napping, he takes her for a walk at night when his stomach doesn't feel well. And at the end of the story, they go back in the bed to nap. So why does the author end the story with a new note on a new day? Well, it shows how good their friendship has stayed the same and how it may be different. So it's important to note that Mr. Putter made a new friend, Miss Teaberry, and now friends are doing kind things. He went to visit and she baked more special treats for him. So they're showing each other kindness. They're being polite, and they're thinking about how other people feel. That's really important. If I just thought about myself and I didn't think about my friends or my family, I always have to think about them. That's called consideration. You know, like when you hold the door for an older man or an older woman, if you see them having trouble walking, then maybe you want to wait a little extra and hold it for them until they get there. That's called consideration, because you're thinking about how they might have trouble and you're wanting to help them and make them feel better. And it's great being a considerate person. Mrs. Teaberry's being considerate by making those special treats. That takes a lot of work and energy. And they don't just put themselves together. She's got to do all that work by herself. No one's doing it for her. And Mr. Teaberry and Mr. Putter, he could have just maybe not went by or not checked up on her. But he said, you know what? We had such a nice talk last night. I think that we're becoming friends, and I'm going to go by her house and say, hello, how are you today? And I think that's just what he's doing. So the last part of our plot sequencing chart, just to end it off, is that Mr. Putter finally goes to sleep. The next day, he and Tabby return to Miss Teaberry's house. All right, Oreo, it's time for us to say goodbye. And you want to press the off button? Bernie couldn't do it yesterday. You try with your paws. Come on, you can do it with the nose. Attaboy. All right, see you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.